Hi everyone, welcome to USA Serve Receive Concepts. Here are our principles. We want passing to be a simple and quiet activity, not a lot of extra movement. We know that our arms can act independent of our body, and they respond faster than our legs. So we can use our legs to get to the ball and put out a nice platform. We also want to let our angle do the work. And in the end, we know the ball only knows the angle that we put out. So we just want to put out good angles after good angles. We value the first contact a lot, and we know that just a good contact over a long period of time will allow us to stay in system. And we want to run our USA speed time after time along the net and off the net. And the quality of our first contact is huge for this. We want to communicate early and often as possible. And that means front loading a serve and clarifying seams. And we also want to talk during a rally and during a serve. We always want to hold our finish and hold our angles. And we believe that with a good hold, we can be a little bit more accurate. We want to communicate the USA way as much as possible. And for us, that means direct communication, short phrases, and right to the point is the best. We can make eye contact with our fellow passers, and we believe it just goes a long ways and it builds relationships. And when the gyms are loud, when the arenas are loud, eye contact is huge. And again, we want to communicate before the serve, during as much as possible. If we can get an in or out call or a name during the serve, that's huge. And after, we can always talk about the serve and give some feedback if needed. Our USA target is in the middle of the court, 3 feet off the net. If we happen to face a tough server, we can aim off the net and also air it in front of the setter. We always want the setter moving forward. So here's a clip of Justine passing the ball in front of the setter on a tough serve. I want to break down passing in 3 parts. The first part is eye work. We want to get a good read off the server's contact. We want to identify the line of the serve as soon as possible. As soon as she contacts the ball, we want to get an idea of where the serve is going. And during the serve, we want to track the serve all the way into our platform and get a good look at just how the ball is moving and get accurate information so we can put out a good angle. Now our platform. We want to put out good early angles, and we want to keep our elbows straight as much as possible. We talk about staying in the line. As soon as we identify the serve, where the serve is coming from and going, and we identify the line of the serve, we want to keep our angle and our platform moving in that line while we're passing the ball. So we're not swinging across the line, we want to stay in it as much as possible. On a deep serve, we can open up, and we can create some space so that we can put out a nice angle. A big part of our passing philosophy is getting the ball slightly off center. Oftentimes, on these tough serves, it really helps to get the ball off center. So we're going to watch Kim pass the ball off center. As you can see, Kim's put out a nice early angle, and her arms are straight. She's staying in the line, and she's even opening up, taking the ball on the side, or off center, as we call it. And third, I want to talk about our footwork. We want to shuffle as much as possible, shoving the ground using 3 shuffles. So here Kim is shuffling to the ball using a 1, 2, 3. Another staple of ours is the term quimple, and it just means quiet and simple. Let's watch USA put out a nice quimple move. Now let's talk about seam responsibilities. We want to clarify before each serve which seam we have, and one of our goals is to always reach left as much as possible. If you look here, Megan, who's in middle back, number 17, our libero, we want her to be in charge of clarifying seam responsibilities. Ideally, if the serve is coming from 1 or 6, we want our players reaching left a lot, as often as possible. So she would get the deep left seam here. Jordan will get the deep left seam here. And of course, Kim would get everything to her left. The short right seam ball of Kim will be hers, and that's right here. And Megan will get this short seam ball here. And Jordan has everything to her right. Now let's talk about seam responsibilities from the server coming from zone 5. So here Megan is in right back, our libero, and we want her to take the short left seam. We want Jordan here in middle back, taking the short left seam in front of Kim. And of course, Kim has everything to her left and behind. Now let's talk about the deep seam. We want Jordan to help with this deep right seam. And we want Kim to help with this deep right seam. So here we're gonna watch Jay cover her left seam. Here's Jay in right back, and we're gonna watch this clip of her reaching left to pass this ball in the seam. We believe if we put out a good angle and hold our finish, that'll allow us to be good for long periods of time. So let's watch Barge put out a nice angle and give us a nice hold. Here's Barge in right back. As you can see, on a tough serve, she can hold her finish and gives us a nice, good pass in front of the setter. In the end, we just want to put out good angle after good angle, allowing us to stay in our USA system and play fast. Now let's get to work.